sound as it rings and it pulls me away, far from the country.
That is William Prince with the title track to his brand new album. The album is out everywhere now, and I'm so pleased to welcome Peguis First Nation's own William Prince. Back to Q. How are you?
Tom, good to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you, my
feel
buddy.
Good.
Yeah, nice. We were just talking about hats.
Yeah.
Because I remember not long ago, you and I were hanging out, and I was telling you that I have the biggest head of anyone I know. It's not a metaphor. I have I cannot wear hats, but I have to buy the last hat at the store.
Yeah.
Which is the 7 7/8. It's the biggest hat in the store. And you informed
That's
me.
a newborn head. Jeez. You tell me, you come talk to me when you're scouring the late night websites trying to find like a reduced mascot hat,
Well, what you told me was that your head is so big. Do you know the size of it?
I'd say about 8.25.
Wow. So you told me that your head is so big that generally you can only wear nondescript hats.
Yeah.
You wear like just plain generic black. And you today.
I'm so happy to say, I have a Winnipeg Jets hat on, a real deal.
How did this happen?
My cousin found it. He's always thinking of me. My cousin Alan Grey Eyes runs a great festival back in Winnipeg, Sakiway, and he was out. He's a big sports fan, of course. My cousin played hockey, and he's a super hockey dad. I'm a hockey dad, and we love the Jets. So he saw this hat, and it was just shining like this beacon in the desert, an 8 1/8. So I was able to, happy to say, coming down in head sizes maybe.
You could squeeze it, and now you can
it's
never take it off.
I'm not squeezing. I sleep in this thing.
Yeah. I got to wear it in the shower. It's no. Well, I'm so glad you found the right. And now I hope the Canadian listening public can reward you.
Yes.
With hats that fit.
8 1/8, 8.25. Bring them to the show.
7 7/8 over here, buddy.
I'll pretty much wear anything.
Apparently, it's pretty not okay. Nice to see you. I saw you a couple of days ago at the big Neil Young tribute. You were excellent at that. Great job. But what did you do again?
Out on the weekend.
Talk to me a little bit about how you chose that. Why you wanted to do that song? How you felt doing it?
Yeah, it was great. I originally started with the task. I was going to do "War of Man," which is one of the coolest songs. One of Neil's very cool songs, in my opinion, and I labored over that one for months, and it just got to the point where I wasn't able to pull it off, just in the sense of tuning and singing the type of style. Yeah. And then, Out on the Weekend is an easy favorite. And then, truthfully, I saw that it wasn't on the list, and I kind of wrote it off as like, for sure somebody's going to do Out on the Weekend. And I said, why not make this easier on myself? Massey Halls and intimidating a place enough at times.
Yeah,
and
it was great.
It was awesome. Yeah, the band sounded good. Aaron Goldstein pulled off that whole show so well.
It was amazing. Did you have any knowledge of like Neil Young as like a Manitoba artist when you were starting out as a songwriter out of Manitoba? Does Neil mean anything to you there?
Yeah, just the Winnipeg connection. A lot of people. I really only started figuring out the Winnipeg scene when I would have moved. For university. I was 17 or so, and then. Yeah, you grow to know the players, and then, of course, Neil's right at the top of the lore.
Was he influential to you at all? Or?
Yeah, I knew Neil only as a rock artist, and then as I grew up, and then you learn, wow, there's this whole this whole other range of folk albums, and you start to learn the records a little more front to back, and yeah, first time I really experienced the acoustic Neil was in person, so that changed my whole.
What do you mean?
Like when I went on the road with him and opened for him.
You hadn't heard the acoustic Neil before that?
No.
So for people who don't know, I told this story, I think we talked about it last time you were here, and I told this story when I introduced you at Massey Hall, but you sang, what song did you sing in front of him at the Songwriters Hall of Fame?
I sang a Bruce Cockburn song.
Oh, it was a Cockburn song.
Yeah, I was there for Bruce, so I did Stolen Land with Alyssa P. Isaac, my good pal.
Yeah, and Neil was in the audience.
Yeah.
And he reaches out to you and says, hey, do you want to come on the road?
Yeah.
And up until then, you hadn't heard really acoustic Neil.
Like
Heart of Gold,
Harvest Moon, Heart of Gold, and such. But then to really explore it after that moment, it's ongoing. Still listening to records and collecting them. And now that I have a house, I'm gonna get a real deal record player and start listening more.
He got a graphic hat, he got a house, and getting a record player. Things are looking up.
Things are going great. It's so nice.
What do you most remember from that tour with Neil?
Just him. He's a show in himself, and just so welcoming and loving. Daryl Hannah side stage every night watching me, and just saying the most encouraging things after. His whole crew. Elliot was still alive at that time.
His longtime manager.
And just to spend time with him and, yeah, all of it. You know, you try to, it's like I was opening my eyes wider, trying to like max remember everything, and you can't. You just got to let the stardust fall on you like anything else, and I'll always remember him in that time.
Is it like that? Because the night after we spoke at the Neil Young tribute, the next morning you flew to Nashville to play the Grand Ole Opry?
Yes. Yeah. From Massey Hall the other night. Yeah, man, I'm all turned around.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you were at Massey Hall. You're in Toronto right now.
What a back-to-back night.
Yeah,
I actually mentioned his birthday on the Opry because first time you're there, it's packed with all this. How's it feel? First time, you know, they're photos. They're walking you, showing you the historical rooms, and this time it was, you know, way more chill and relaxed. I was just there contributing to the night, and I had more fun. It was great. It was so easy to be around. Everybody's there, and to be welcomed back. That's kind of a neat feeling.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Mr. Prince. Like, holy smokes.
Does it feel any different being on that stage than any of the other gigs you play? Like, do you describe how it most feels different compared to the other gigs you do?
It doesn't.
Really?
That's the incredible part about it all. It's like you want to go there and how do I feel that night? I gauge it on like how more relaxed like this was I versus like, oh man, this means so much. This means so much. This has to go well. This has to, and it usually always does. So I started to remove some of that from everything I've ever
Is that
done.
new? Is that new? Did you have a lot of pressure on yourself before?
Yeah,
in
you know, in the beginning when you're trying to really prove it, but I'm still holding myself to a standard. And yeah, I think it's just the whole, you know, stand in the joy.
Yeah,
have more fun with this thing that's going on. You don't, you know, walk around and say hi to people and be a presence, take up space. It's learning. You know, I think that feeling to shrink yourself down and sing your song and get out of the way kind of thing, that's not how you're going to max enjoy this.
No.
Like, people are happy to see you there. They bring like VIP tourists to your room. So you're just sitting there,
what?
And like, here's a giraffe. You know, it's like a zoo of country singers.
Were they
in
doing that?
Stalls.
Were they bringing a tour guide around to you while you were in the room?
Oh yeah, taking photos of people and signing stuff.
Come on.
Here you'll see William Prince from Canada. He's performing tonight, and oh wow, oh my gosh, and yeah, it's an interesting experience back there.
It's a beautiful thing. I want to talk about the new record, and kind of want to talk about it through some of the songs that you actually performed that night. Let's start with the first one.
I had a good friend, life cut short by his own hand. Everybody but his old man seemed so surprised. He was a young man, so was I. Didn't think to say goodbye. Now the last time that we spoke's the last time. And no matter.
That's William Prince with All the Same from his brand new album, Further from the Country. It's a beautiful song.
Thank you, Tara.
Tell me a little bit about it.
That song is the Peguis First Nation to me. That's any small town blues. You know, you grow up in a zone where not a lot changes and you're driving the same road in circles and cranking music and becoming and living through sadness as much as you're living through the joy. And yeah, it represents that place for me very, very much so. And it's my geography song in a way.
What does that mean?
You know how like Tyler Childers and Isbell, they take their lived experiences of just where they're from, and it really comes through in the message, like an Appalachian artist, like singing about that kind of
Tyler
stuff.
Childers sings about picking mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Isbell talks about, you know, being in a small town and, you know, and you know, around wrecked old cars and living out in the mountains.
Totally.
Yeah.
And characters that live in those towns, people that will steal copper from a work site to get prescription medicine.
Yeah.
You know, there is desperation like that in the place that I come from.
Yeah.
And that's not something I've seen. I'm just saying in comparison, that's the same story that Jason Isbell's telling when he talks about those people. And I grew up around so many of them, truckers and, you know, heavy machine operators who have to get up and smoke that cigarette early in the morning to get going. And this is the real deal life looking at you. And you got people, you got youth that continue to lose their young lives in these desperate situations, whether that's to alcoholism or, self-inflicted life loss. You ask anybody where I come from, and they will have threads that connect them to that kind of loss. And, it's like so-and-so broke into somebody's house and stole this from them to, we found out it was them after. I'm not naming any names, but that's,
I know it
this
too,
is small town syndrome for those that might not know. There's people that you see every day at the community hall or the shopping center, and then one desperate night, they turn into a completely different person that you never knew. And it leaves a big ripple of pain that affects a lot of people. Well, that was my auntie's TV.
Yeah.
That was like so-and-so's, my cousins needed that, and you stole from them. And gosh, I remember our house got broken into, stole all the DVDs, all my dad's rifles, we had nothing, and they still managed to steal it all,
Yeah.
and it's, and then later you grow up and you're like, oh wow, that's that kid, that broke into my house and my dad had to go find and sort out.
Yeah, and there's like a mixture of what sounds like anger and also kind of like sadness that had happened, and the sadness for the person who had to do it.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's the thing I can't be scared to lean into, is I've always carried this responsibility of the truth with me, and that's I guess a good thing about being where I am now, is I can kind of look back on these things and reflect on them, share them, and they're kind of old news now. So
where do you write the song like that? How does that one come to you? Are you home? Is something inspiring it? Are you seeing something? Are you thinking, okay, this is a story that's close to my heart? I assume it's from your perspective. This is a story that's close to my heart that a lot of people can relate to. Where does the germ come from to start writing it?
I think it's just finally, having the courage to look at it again. I've been so focused on, moving forward for a lot of years, all the time. And, now that I got a house that I love, I'd find myself sitting there writing songs more in the morning. And this one, was in parts. It was started and left for a while. Maybe I don't want to sing about that, and
maybe that stuff from back home is a little bit, either it might be too much pressure to sing about it. People might get, and there's a certain way I might feel around.
I wouldn't debut that song in my hometown, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you leave it alone for a while.
Yeah, and those are all real characters that I've known, and I think it's a lot of people. Like, geez, you imagine one person's greatest day ever is somebody's worst. Like, I'm always kind of sitting in the sonder of that, taking in those things, because, like, think of a guy, loses their spouse or their parent or their child. It's all happened around me, and then they got to go back to work the next week, because that's so many people, they don't get a break from that thing. And then the song itself, all the same, it talks about the apathy that can kind of develop over time. Well, it's all the same anyway, why should I be any better? So it's kind of kicking against that by taking a look at it very closely and saying, I lived all these things and lived beside people living these things, and I still managed to try to find some joy and positivity and turn it around into something good. So that's what I'm sort of saying in the background of it all too.
What made you come back to the song? So I didn't hear that. When you left it for a while, what made you come back to it?
I thought it was good.
Okay.
It just felt good. The chorus, the way it kind of swings, and the way it moves. I just want to honor those people in a way too. It's been a long time since that friend passed, and it don't break me like it used to is a big idea on this record, and that's why it's easier to kind of sing about those things.
A lot of that sort of remembrance and sort of looking with wide eyes at the past on this record.
Watching TV with the sound off, waiting for a sign. I'd give anything to see you one more time. I'd settle for a dream, and there you'd be, and I would get to hold you for the first time in a long time.
It's a beautiful song.
For the first
That's William Prince and For the First Time. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Yeah, the 10-year anniversary of my dad's passing was very all at the forefront of my mind when I was recording this record and putting it together. And just, I'm always thinking of that mortality because we're so the same, he and I. So
how so?
Just we're both, like physically, like the way his life ended because of being a First Nations man with diabetes and eventually breaking down over time. I see basically the path I'm going to take if you don't actively make healthier, better choices in life.
Right.
And so,
so when you say you're facing down mortality, you're not. It's not an abstract subject.
No,
like we all face down mortality.
Literally, like the heart disease and all those things that First Nations people contend with. Kidney failure. I grew up around that too. That's the same thing. It's not a pleasant journey to go on, and my family had to live the brunt of it all the time because they lived with him while I was off going to school and trying to make something of myself with music. And it took me away from that core group that were constantly dealing with dialysis, and I don't want to do that to my family. So it's like, staring that mortality, living with it, and then eventually losing him 10 years ago. He's the last person I wish I could tell, and I talk about that. He'd be so proud, to hug my dad again. What a feeling. And still waiting on that moment 10 years later where you actually see his face in a dream. And
have you had that yet?
No.
I had one. I lost my dad when I was 24, so 14 years ago. That's all right. And I get them. I'm a bit emotional thinking about it. I got maybe 2 ever.
Yeah.
It is. My sister gets a fair bit of them, but I've had maybe 2 of them, and they're profound.
And the closest I've gotten is to almost like hearing his voice, or he was just here. Your dad, okay, he went outside, and then you turn to go outside, and it's over. And it's just
in the dream.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That fleeting feeling, and sometimes it wakes up, and you wake up, and it feels so real. Like it's holy moly! I just about saw him, and that would have carried me for so long. And
do you get the childhood ones where like you are a kid back and he's still around and you're in the car with the family?
You
ever get those?
I can feel him around.
Yeah,
but just like when I'm awake, though, I feel him too. Every time I play, every time I do, my son reminds me of him. Our joking, lighthearted nature between us. Like I'm raising him the same way he did me. Hopefully, with less of the traumatic things overhanging. I strive for that every day, to leave a good impression for him. And this song.
Can you tell me about your dad a little bit? I don't know that much about him.
Well, he was an interesting character. From Peguis, and he went to the day schools and everything, and he suffered a lot of hardship there as a young boy. We've heard these stories plenty. And unfortunately carried a lot of that with him. And for as great a dad as he was, he also was contending with taking care of the family and, just trying to make it back then when, of course, like racism is so much more prevalent and challenging. He's lying about his age to work jobs and, fighting even harder than I am to be seen as equal and really not getting anywhere. And he was, he taught me music. He loved to sing and play, and he was talented. And
he made records too, right?
Yeah. He made a bunch of records that I played on as a kid and wrote songs for. And it was super fun. We shared that. That was our thing. And it lives with me all the time. I hear old Christopherson tunes or Emmylou Harris, and he's right there for a minute. And I loved him. He's a great dad. I was lucky to have a dad like that.
And the song seems to be like, if we could even talk about the first song, and I want to talk about the sound of the record in just a second. It does seem to me, I don't even know if I have a question here, but like it does seem to me like there was somewhere you were, and now there's somewhere you are that is feel safe or good or comfortable enough that you're able to start looking back a little bit.
That's exactly it, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You put a little space between, the carnage that is grief for a while, and for the first time really spoke about that moment. Oh, geez, today's the day he died, and you just forgot about it for 3/4 of the day.
Yeah.
Because you're so happy living the life you're living.
Yeah.
Look at your daughter, look at your partner, and that love can distract you in the most beautiful, profound way. And it's like, oh, geez, my dad's birthday today. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. I love you, man. You know, I don't have to post your photo today in black and white and say, oh gosh, it's really, really hard.
To all those out there, I don't have to do it anymore. I know.
And it's like you live that for a while. It's almost like a rite of passage for the first 5 years or whatever. Now the day goes by. And it's true. It's true every day. It's not just performative. And to anybody that does that, I absolutely love it. But for me, just moving past that, where I'm not fully living in this man's shadow of grief, or my family's grief about it, for the first time, doesn't break me down like it used to. Finding that moment and that strength, and being able to look at him with lots of love now, being easier on his mistakes. And there were a lot of them, and they followed me for a lot of years, and I just don't want to live like that. I'll always love him and cherish him as one of my best friends, and there was no incomplete business. I just wish we had more time. I wish he had legs so we could have went golfing. I wish he was still here to see that I could, put him in Massey Hall in a great seat, and then he could go shake all the hands in the lobby, just like he did at the bingo hall. You know,
he's what do you call him? The Charmer is another song on the record that's kind of about him, right?
For sure.
I love the way you put him on that.
That's kind of an Eddie Boy part 2 from the first record to this. Now it's like, well, it's a fair representation of him as a whole, and things that bugged me about him, but also still things that I loved, and dealing with that was nice too, to release that. And still I'm working through it, and for the first time, looking at that, wishing that there's who I bet if you could see him in the dream, or I dream about it like, oh, if he could come back for an hour, what would we talk about? Here's every photo on my phone of your grandson. Here's listen to this recording. He never got to hear a lick of me recorded.
Really?
So he only ever heard me at the kitchen table. Maybe that's more special, but he never got to open a record and be like, wow, I'm holding my son's music here.
And see that you're playing the Grand Ole Opry, and that you're doing all these big gigs.
He loved me anywhere I played.
Yeah, fair enough.
But to add those, for sure, would be what a badge, making your dad proud, And one of my closest friends, we share that too, that kind of space. So it inspires me to just leave behind a lot of good stuff for my son. And my son's lucky. He's going to have voice journals and 1,000 photos and videos of me to look at. And I wish I had more than the 5 or so that I have, And it's like, wow, that's the gold in my life. And so, take lots of photos with your kids.
I'm trying. I'm taking too many photos, and all we can do. I think about this a lot now. It's like all I can do is just try to give that to her. All I can do now. What a great opportunity it is.
I think all good parents are doing that. That's what we have in common with everybody. And you want to leave them in a great place and give them good things and memories and all that. So and now my son and I we're doing at Centennial Concert Hall when you're on tour and in Winnipeg, and he gets to go walk around. Or I brought him to Massey before, and going to his hockey games, and people stop and say how great my stuff is. Like that's a real nice Winnipeg feeling and to live with. And then you go to the Opry, and the same thing. People afterwards say, "Geez, man, that was awesome." See you around town. That happened. I got recognized at Tootsie's of all places, the back alley of the Ryman Man.
Where Hank Williams would go to have a drink because he couldn't drink backstage at the Ryman.
So I'm also a country singer who was recognized back there, like that Hank Williams guy. That stuff is so cosmic joy in a way that's going to live with me always.
Cosmic is a good word to use there, and on this record as well. I mean, this record was produced by, I would know him as the Winnipeg artist Boy Golden. Sorry, his real name is?
Liam Duncan.
You guys work together on this record. Yep. It is a little bit more cosmic. Right off the bat, that track 1 is a little bit more psychedelic. Yeah. The title track we played is a little bit heavier, a little swingier, a little rockier.
For sure.
You and I were talking before we got started on the air. That was intentional.
Totally.
Tell me.
It's all about the vehicle we need. You mentioned earlier that the record talks about where I was, where I am now, in a safer spot.
Able to look back at where you were.
Able to look back. Now I'm looking to the space from here to Nathaniel Rateliff, from here to Billy Strings and Chris Stapleton, Jason Isbell, Margot Price, Sierra Farrell, like
these big Americana artists.
The artists that I admire and I'm so inspired by on the daily, that I'm always listening to and brushing shoulders with, hanging out. It's just a matter of time, you know, and getting to play. Every time I get to play an American festival, it's further from the country, you know. It's farther from Peguis First Nation, where I started out and just wanted somebody to appreciate the songs, if not just making a record for myself. But now we're really taking stock of what that means to come this far, to play the Opry twice and go on all these tours. It seems like you could pack it in now, but the truth is, I don't know, am I a 10th of the way now?
So how does that lead to a more psychedelic, more rocky at parts? It's also a great country record. It's also a great singer-songwriter record. How does that lead to this?
Well, further from the country also is bending what it means to be country music, you know?
Yeah.
We set up one microphone in the room and used to record Hank and the band in a circle, and, you know, we're farther along than that. We have the technology, you know, it's kind of that thing.
Yeah.
So this is the rocket ship that I hope will cover a little more, you know, ground than a horse and buggy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's hop into a quicker, flashier, more volume-esque vehicle.
Yeah.
And maybe that will, you know, put the miles, bring them down a little bit. We got a long way to go still. And so the sound itself is looking to put me in those festival slots in America alongside all those people I mentioned, because this music lives in me just as much as like more somber, slow acoustic storytelling of the heroes I have.
Yeah.
And
that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's where you see yourself. That's
Totally.
You're ambitious to get to that place.
For sure.
You know, you're so close to it. You're admired by the same people. Those artists are all big fans of yours.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hearing you correctly, like, you just want to figure out how to cross that bridge.
Definitely, you know, and this album leans into every influence rather than compartmentalizing. It's like, well, I used to love being at home detuning an electric guitar and just playing riffs and finding neat sounding things and
listening to Korn. It sounds like.
Yeah,
I don't know. Detuning the guitar sounds like Korn to me.
Definitely, you know, all those heavy rock bands, and so it's a blend of those things. At the core of it, still just my storytelling. And after really observing Liam Duncan and Boy Golden as a whole, just admiring what they can do and watching their work. Like, this is just me, like, from afar seeing, wow, these guys are putting out incredible records. Chris Ulrich and Austin Parahoniak and
out of Manitoba.
Out of Manitoba. And Liam kind of right at the core of all that stuff. And then I think of my actual band, like, I got to shout them out, you know, Stephen Arundel, Cody Awasiuk, and John Mark Barron, Kieran Plasetka. I had so many great people from Nashville, Ben Plotnick, Trent Freeman.
Both Canadians, though. Ben and Trent are both all Canadian bands.
Yeah, Canadian players that are finding themselves in great spots. And so that was really an interesting thing to come together. You know, my wife, Alicia Grace, singing harmonies, and we got to make a record at the best studio in my mind, No Fun Club in Winnipeg. Very much if you build it, they will come situation. And yeah, so we took up a lot of space there over the course of 6 or 7 months.
I mean, that's something to go from making your records in Nashville, the last couple of records, you know, in probably, because you made them with, what's his name?
Dave Cobb.
Dave Cobb in
Savannah. Well, I went to Savannah for the last record in Georgia.
You got to go home for this record.
Yeah. Sleep in my own bed at the end of the night. And I think that added to it. That's why we were able to record, you know, 20 songs and pick the ones that fit this story the best.
But to be part of your community is an amazing thing. And I think that the community out of Manitoba historically has been, we were just talking about this before we're going in. I mean, the Guess Who are going back on tour. We were talking about Neil Young. I had a great conversation with Begonia from Winnipeg the other day.
Also features some of those players I just mentioned, you know, like.
It's a scene.
Yeah.
Mitch is wearing out there a Propaganda T-shirt.
I saw that. Nice touch.
Yeah, and he says he didn't do it on purpose because he knew you were coming in, but I don't believe him. Manitoba, I think people talk about my home province this way, but Manitoba really punching above its weight historically in terms of the art that it has put out. Can I start by asking it, any ideas why?
Well, I think we can afford our lives there a little easier.
Really? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who isn't happier when you're not crushed by rent and the cost that it takes to live in what people often deem musical hubs of Canada.
Yeah. It's hard to do here in Toronto now. You know what I mean?
Gosh.
Yeah.
Artists all living in Hamilton because of it, you know. And
so because people
all
can
the love to Hamilton, you know.
But people can afford to live in Winnipeg. Artists can afford to live in Winnipeg a little bit easier.
Yep, I think that's a big part of it. Of course, everybody's first to talk about like our seasonal thing, but it lends itself to creativity, to work on your stuff over the winter and then bloom when it's time, you know, festival season. And there's a lot of great camaraderie that I love there, and it's it's all for its own community, which I like. And
do you think of yourself as part of that? Do you ever get a chance to think of yourself as in the line of the Manitoba artists?
I hope so. Yeah, I walked away from Peguis, you know, hoping that like I would play some gigs in Winnipeg, and that just seemed like a big intimidating hurdle. And now, yeah, people are kind everywhere I go. That's the greatest privilege of my life, is that, especially in Winnipeg. I run into people who are so proud of me, and that's like, who doesn't have a pep in their step when people are telling you how much something you do moves them? There's a lot of people that don't get to experience that, and I think of it all the time as, yeah, you got to stop for a second and hear about somebody else, and I love that. That's what makes up these songs, are the people.
It's a funny duality I'm hearing here, because on one side of things I'm hearing like, you know, it's about, we talked the last time you were here about standing in the joy, about, you know, appreciating what you have, and you said something earlier, you were like, you know, I could have stopped right now and I'd be so happy, you know, this is amazing. And on the other side, this, I want to say ambition in the best possible way. Yeah. This idea that like, hey, maybe it's more like, hey, I deserve it. Like my music is deserves to be up there with all these other people that I admire. I think you made an excellent record. What would success look like to you for this record?
Geez, being on cue. Every part
well,
of this.
congratulations, buddy. You did it.
Every part of this, you know, getting invited back to the places. I do have my sights set on America, you know, finding another economy over there where I can bring the band in a comfortable fashion and getting invited to those festivals, representing not only as a Canadian but a First Nations artist, and getting to do those things. Yeah, I said a long time ago that it's not to make it, it's to keep making it. So success is to keep being able to pursue this love, you know, of making records, and 6 Shooter Records is doing that for me in a really, really great way, and allowing me the freedom to create. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky that there's any desire for me to go play at all. Like, ask any artist. That's the great compliment, is that I'm needed somewhere, and I want to continue on with it. But who knows? Maybe one of those Grammy nods, Tom.
I think you got a good shot, buddy.
That's what everybody's talking about around me. I'm trying to be more conscious of my presence in this internet world we're living in. You can't turn away from it completely, but I can still do it my way. And those late night TVs are still calling. I just got to get a little taller, eat all my vegetables, and you'll see me on Kimmel. And it helps when my fanship here in Canada are keep sharing the good news. You know, keep coming to the tours. That's the way that it looks like we're actually making progress here, and to get to take this record out on tour in a bus for the second time.
Come on.
Great stuff like that.
Eating big time.
Eating big time, man. I'm so thankful for the people I get to work with, and success for me will look even better when the people I care about and love are living easier too. So I'm ambitious for that.
There's a lot of people in this country that are on your side. I see it every single time you do a show. I see it every time we have you on the show. It feels like you got a whole nation rooting for you. Before we go, I thought we might play a little game before you go, given that we're discussing Manitoba. Okay. We thought we might get you to, speaking of the internet, blindly rank 5 iconic Winnipeg things. It's something big on Instagram and TikTok right now. But essentially, I'm going to give you 5 different Manitoba-related stuff. You have to blindly rank them.
Okay.
Position 1 to 5. And at the end, we'll figure out what your order was and how you feel about it. You ready?
right.
Number 1, Ray and Jerry's.
I just went to Ray and Jerry's for the first time ever.
Steakhouse in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah. Geez.
Incredible place, eh?
Okay.
Did you get gravy?
I didn't. I got a classic steak and potatoes. I want to do all the baseline stuff.
I love
An
Ray and Jerry.
old-fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the steak and potato. Absolutely great. Just because I don't know where we're going, I'm going to put it right in the middle. Because you couldn't, out of 3, you can go there and just have a cocktail. The vibe is immaculate. Right in the middle.
Ray and Jerry's 3, I'm putting that down. Winnipeg Jets.
Buddy. Look who you're talking to.
Look at the size of this hat.
Love these guys. I'm going to leave room for one. Yeah, I love the Jets. I'm passionate about hockey. And, yeah, let's go.
I know what you're thinking.
Number 1, baby.
All right.
It's gotta be.
Good job. Number
Come
one,
on
number one.
now.
Okay.
Got a Jets hat on today.
Number 3, Burton Cummings.
Oh, love Burton. Geez, what a guy. Let's put Burton at, to me, oh, geez.
Did you ever see him around?
I've only seen him once. I saw him, we did the Manitoba 150 show together. I saw him there, but I saw him in the airport, and I didn't want to bother him. So I just went up and said, "Hi, Burton, I'm William from Winnipeg. Love you. Safe travels." "Oh, yes, William. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you," you know. So that's pretty great. I'll put him number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Um,
God, you got me Ray and Jerry's at 3 now. Jeez.
Slurpees.
I got the Beatus, man. I'm not drinking Slurpees.
What's the story on? I got told this that Winnipeg people drink Slurpees. Is this a thing?
Yeah, well, we're the Slurpee capital of the world.
What does that mean? Like 7-Eleven, like the drink?
I think people are so grateful for hot weather there that it just naturally goes that now I can drink this frosty drink. And I don't drink them, but they're iconic, and put them at 5.
Number 5, and last but not least, Randy Bachman.
Oh, geez. Randy Bachman.
There's only one place to be, by the way.
Number 2, I guess. Yeah. Love Randy. Those 2 guys. Iconic.
Did you ever come across him?
Again, same thing. We sang Keep Rockin' in the Free World together on Massey Hall stage the night of the induction. So Randy's pretty awesome. I like his passion for things. So, yeah, an interesting 5.
I'm going to put it here.
Okay.
Number 4. What was number 4 again? Burton. And number 5. Okay, so the William Prince Manitoba top 5 are number 1, the Winnipeg Jets. Number 2, Randy Bachman. Number 3, Ray and Jerry's. Number 4, Burton Cummings. And number 5, Slurpees.
I can hear the booze now. Thank you for that, Tom.
I was going to say the nation is
presented without the information first. Blind rank. Oh my God. Burton's gonna be knocking on my door now. No, okay.
You got a problem with these eyes?
Listen. No sugar tonight.
That's why the Slurpees are number 5.
Yes, good one.
Thanks for coming in.
Tom, thank you for this. This means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Means so much to me too. That is the great William Prince. Send him your hats. His new album. What's the hat size again?
I'll take 8 1/8, but 8 1/4 would be ideal.
8 1/4, everybody. Make it happen.